You know, hundreds of thousands of years of knowledge and learning that comes through into your genes. That's the gut. That when you the first 4 seconds of meeting somebody, and you know in that first 4 seconds, everything about you is telling you this person's a good person or a bad person. And then the person speaks and they override that, and you think, yeah, not too bad. 18 months later, they stab you in the back, and you think, I knew that when I met you. You know, we do, but we don't listen to our gut. So I'm saying you have to listen to our body and be aware of, we might be pushing it too hard, and just be aware of that. So yes, your body will speak to you in different ways.
And
Thanks
and Bar, you mentioned negative emotions, and so I just want to come to you with the idea that in specific contexts, every emotion is a positive emotion, right? Like any emotion in the right context is good for us, and that's why we have them. I did just kind of an impromptu intervention the other day with a woman, and she had just gotten divorced, and she had these parts of her that were one that was a people pleaser, and then all of a sudden she would snap and get super angry, and nobody could push her around then, right? And so this is what happens is that anger, she was like, oh, I have this negative emotion called anger. And I was like, well, you're letting people push you around. And then this emotion of anger is actually stopping people from pushing you around. So in that context, is it really negative? Now, I'm not saying it's working optimally for her. There's definitely, what's that?
It's unpleasant.
Yeah, there's definitely like ways to tweak it to make sure the anger comes out in the right context, but it was serving a positive intention for her. So that's something to consider as well, as our emotions are always trying to communicate something to us. And instead of judging them, we should listen to those emotions.
I read something today I thought was kind of related to what you just said about, every emotion can be a positive emotion. What did they say? I thought it was really good. They said the same boiling water that softens the potato hardens the egg. It's just a matter of the context of how you're looking at it.
Absolutely.
And I think what you're saying is the same. You can have, you can look at anger I personally would look at it as a negative, but you can say that that's keeping you from being walked all over. But there's a middle ground, and there's different ways of when you become aware of an emotion. And we spoke about this before when we were talking about total perception management, how to negate or go to neutral with an emotion. So if you're feeling anger, you're aware that your rules are being broken, because that's what really anger's about. Someone's broken your rules, whatever your rules might be. But then to be able to accept that, this is not what they're doing is not good for you. But instead of being angry, to be able to deal with it, go to neutral and then deal with it from there, because then you can make proper decisions. There are certain emotions that, if we indulge ourselves in them, can be detrimental to ourselves and to others. It's a bit like pain. The initial pain draws our attention to something that needs attention. It draws us to there's something wrong. But once the understanding is there, we no longer need to feel that pain. And I think it's the same with our emotions. Every emotion will draw our attention to something that we need to focus on for a moment. But once the understanding's there, we have the ability to go, okay, now I understand why I'm feeling like this. I can go to neutral emotion so that I can make the right decisions. When we're angry, when we're jealous, when we're hurting, when we've got our heart broken, we're not really functioning optimally. And so all those things are going to happen to us in our life. But to be able to recognize it and then go, right, I understand that feeling like this is detrimental to me. I can't make the right decision here. Then to be able to go to neutral emotion and then make a decision from there. In neutral, you can make the right decisions, take the right actions, get the right outcome. And I think we've shown you how to do that already. I'm not sure. Have we done a TPM class yet, Nick?
We did. We can do another one, a full TPM later on.
Right,
but
okay.
Freddie, let me get into some of the requests here. So healthy body, finding lightness and ease in the midst of experiencing fear and still taking action. manage the process of aging positively and stay away from thinking the years affect my ability and energy. Catch the Benjamin Button-esque session 2 or 3 weeks ago. Oh, she asked that if they caught that. Mental clarity and calm. Tell that squirrel in my head to have a cup of tea and give us 5 minutes. Be more connected and listen to my body. Increase productivity and focus and on getting things finished. Taking time out to listen to the body, taking ownership as well, and not just relying on doctors, and opening up the financial flow. So that's some of the requests we have so far, Freddie. So you want to dive right into to your protocol here?
Yeah. Okay. Well, as you saw from the the event details, this evening, this morning, because I know we're all around the world here, we're going to be talking about creating the body, health, and happiness that we want, and that's going to be different for all of us. But I'm going to start by saying that you're already the most incredible creation. You're already the most beautiful creation. We look in the mirror and we all see everything that's wrong with us, but that's not what other people see. You have to understand you're already everything you need to be. But if you love life, and I know most of you do, that's why you're here, then we want to be around as long as to enjoy it. And that's what we're talking about here today. Creating the body, the health, and happiness. I mean, depending on what age you are, I think when we're younger, it seems that a lot of our worth is placed on our physical beauty. As we get older, it becomes less important, and our health becomes more important. And that's not to say, because I am one of the vainest people on the planet, I still want to look great. I'm doing my utmost to do that. It does get more complex, more difficult. Of course it does. But that's not to say that you can't continue to achieve the best you can be. I understand that at 72, I can't be the same as I was at 32, but I can be as good as I can be for 72. And that's kind of my goal. And so this is what we're talking about today. But the first thing we're going to do is get you into that feeling. I know it's my mantra to get you at some point this evening to feel into that feeling of unconditional self-love, because we can start from that platform. Because why would you treat yourself to the health that you want if you don't have an unconditional self-love? Why would you want to look and feel as good as you can look and feel if you don't have an unconditional self-love? And why would you treat yourself to the happiness that you absolutely deserve unless you have a feeling of unconditional self-love? So at some point, when we do the work this evening, I am going to take you into that space. And when I talk about unconditional self-love, that's not an arrogance. I love myself. It's wanting for yourself what you want for the people you love. If you've got young children or teenage children or children of any age, to be honest with you, you want them to be healthy. You want them to be happy, and you want them to feel good. And yet sometimes all our focus is on other people. A lot of you, I can see, are therapists. You've been in my groups, you've been in my training for some years. And I know your goal in life is to help other people be the best they can be, whatever that is. Some years ago, I ran a group for goal setting, and it was a live group. So there might have been 200 people in the room. And I said to them, I want all of you to take your shoes off and just pass them to the person on your left. And then I want the person on the left to put those shoes on. And of course, it was ridiculous, because the chance of your shoes fitting the person next to you, never mind your style, suiting their style, are so minimal. And yet to the person on your left, their shoes were the perfect shoes for them. And when we talk about it in that way, it's like our goals. My goals, which I think are great goals, probably wouldn't suit Nolene or Andrea. We all have our own goals and our own way of thinking, we do tend to get pigeonholed when it comes to how we should look physically. I want you to think about how you want to look, you know, and be realistic about it. Because if you're 70, there's no point in thinking, well, I'd like to look like I did when I was 18. But we can be the best we can be for the age we are. And so I'm going to ask you this evening to let go of any of your limitations, any of your limiting beliefs, and start to think about how you want to be. And whether that's putting on weight, whether that's losing weight, whether it's toning up, whatever that be. So we've got a physical goal. And then I want you to think about the other two aspects of what we're talking about here today. Our health. What are we doing to be as healthy as we can be? We've never had in the history of mankind more information on how to stay healthy. I come from an age, and shows you how old I am, when a snack was bread and dripping. Can you imagine that? So the fat off the roast, pure fat off the roast, would be spread on a bit of bread and you'd eat that. I mean, that's a heart attack sandwich, seriously. And yet people used to love that. But we didn't know, people didn't know any better. I come from an age when I was a kid, and I'm talking about the 1960s, you know, I was in my 10 and teenage years in the 1960s. I didn't smoke. I was the odd one out. It was very odd as a teenager not to smoke in the 1960s. If you didn't smoke, they thought you were weird. We have so much more education now. We have so much more information on about what we should do to stay, you know, like the right nutrition. And it's not difficult, is it? Some of the things that we can do, we're going to be talking about this evening, are things that are free. Drink more water. How many of us drink enough water? How many of us take the time out to breathe properly, at least once a day? How many people connect with the earth? These things are free to just walk, to get out in the light. Things that can completely change our lives if we think about doing them. Some people spend their whole life and never actually connect with earth. We're talking about concrete. We're talking about working 5, 6 floors, 10 floors, 20 floors high, and we're not connecting with the planet anymore. We're not getting the magnetism that we actually get from the planet Earth. To go out, I know it sounds a strange thing to do, but spend 5 minutes barefoot on a piece of grass or on a piece of actual earth. To spend 5 minutes in the daylight for no other reason than being in the daylight. And to breathe for 5 or 10 minutes, to properly fill your lungs up. This isn't going to cost you anything, but it will absolutely change your life. So we're going to be, I'm not going to preach to you what you should or shouldn't do, because most of you already know. But we know that knowing doesn't always make it so, does it? I'm going to ask you today, when we're together, to think about what you want. And then understand that our conscious mind, which is the part that thinks it is us, it's the captain of the ship I was talking about, is the most limited part of our being. Yeah, it thinks it is us. The conscious mind is so limited, it can only hold 7 plus or minus 2 things at the same time. If I gave you a string of 7 numbers and added 2 more numbers to it, you'd forget 2 of the numbers that are already in that line, because our brain doesn't think like that. Our conscious mind is limited. But your unconscious mind is like everything else on that ship. It's the crew. It's the ship itself. It's taking care of your breathing, your heartbeat, your body temperature, all of those things. While you're thinking about what you're going to wear in the morning, your unconscious mind is doing all that stuff for you. It's incredibly powerful. But the conscious mind, it also tries to keep us from feeling bad. So when it comes to not looking after ourselves, it will come up with the best excuses ever. I haven't got time. I don't like that food. I don't like drinking water. There's, 100 excuses. for why we are not living our best lives. And some of those excuses sound good, and it's easy, isn't it? It's always going to find the easy way. Only you can decide how you want to feel. Only you can decide how you want your body to be. And I'm not even going to use the word effort because it's not hard. There was a guy years ago called Zig Ziglar. And someone says it's the price you pay for creating that body you want. No, he says it's the price you pay for not creating it. Being ill, you know, in your 50s and 60s and 70s, not being able to do the things you want to do, not being as mobile as you could be. That's the price you pay. Not the price you pay for doing the exercise or eating the right food. So let's look at this a different way. And it's okay. You know, I've got a son of 21. As much as I can tell him to eat the right food, he's going to eat rubbish. And and yet he's very, very focused on creating the finances he wants. He's got a plan. You know, and he works hard and he saves hard. And he invests already at 21. He's already got an investment plan. And I just said to him the other day, spend the same investing in your body. There's no point getting to 50 and being super wealthy and not being able to live that life, is it? But most people don't think about investing in their body in the same way as they think about investing in their finances. I'm asking you to think about this in a different way. To look at this as play the long game. It's easy. I honestly, I can remember being 20. I can remember being 30. I remember thinking 50 was so far away. And here I am, in a few weeks' time, I'm going to be 72. That time, it's gone like that. And we turn around and 30 years are gone, 10 years gone, 20 years are gone. But we don't think about it. I'm asking you to think about this today, before you leave this call today, to think about where you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or 20 years from now. And how you want to be 20 years from now. Because the chances are, with all the health and all the medication we have these days, the chances are you are going to live to 80, 90. You know, for some people like Nick and people in their 30s, they're looking to live in their 100, to be 100. But how do you want to be in your 80s and 90s? That's the question. Do you want your mind to be still functioning properly? Do you want to still be being able to be independent? And I'm looking at some of you here and you're young, you know, and that's the time, like it is with your finances. People said to me, oh, you need to get a pension when I was 25. No, it's 40 years away before I retire. I'm not going to invest. And that time went. And so I'm saying we should spend as much time on investing in our health as we do investing in our finances. So that when we get to that point where we can reclaim some of that finance, we're in a good enough time to spend it and enjoy it. This is what I want you to think about tonight. I'm going to get you into the state of mind because most of you already know what you're doing and how you know how to do this. You already know that. And you also know what you're not doing that you could be doing to be as healthy as you can be. You already know that. So why don't we do it? That's the question. Why don't we do what we know we should be doing? What's stopping us? And I think it's this. Having a big enough why to. Why? Why bother? Yes, some of you are totally loved and you're loved as you are. You don't need to have the perfect figure to be loved by the person you're with or be loved by your kids or your grandchildren because they love you anyway. And this has to come from within us. It has to be the why, has to come from us. Because other people are not going to want that. They don't mind. Their lives go on. So we're going to ask that question tonight when we're in hypnosis. I'm going to ask you to get your unconscious mind to give you the why. And it might be that there isn't a why. You might already be totally happy where you're at physically and mentally and, you know, in your physical self. It might be that you're perfectly okay. And that's great. You don't have to be anything else. I've told you earlier, you're already the most incredible creation. You're already the most beautiful thing in this universe. You're the most incredible creation. Think about your body. How incredible is your body? I marvel at it all the time. What our bodies can do. Why our feet don't wear out after traveling millions of miles. There's not one part of your body that's more than 6 or 8 months old. How incredible is the human being? Just think about our minds. Think about the things we can create and the things we can imagine with our brain. How incredible are we? You know, for me, this is just transport. But I understand that people judge me by my transport. We live in that world where people make a judgment in the first few seconds about who you are, what you are, by the way you look, by the clothes you wear, car you drive. I understand that, you know, and I present. And if I'm presenting and I'm going to stand up and say, look, I can help you create the life you want, people will make a judgment about that. I've seen it. You've seen it. People who stand up in like a, you know, $10 suit with their shoe scruffed and they're standing up saying, I'm an executive coach. You think, what executive would want you to coach them? You know, you obviously haven't got, you know, 2 pennies to rub together, and yet you're there. So when I present and I say to you, you know, you want to create the body you want, I at least should be working towards doing that myself, just for a credibility point of view, because I understand that people judge me by my transport. This is not who I am. What part of me has to go before Freddie disappears? I lose an arm, I'm Freddie without an arm. I lose a leg, I'm Freddie without a leg. What part of me has to go before Freddie disappears? And it's none of this. We've spoken, I've taken you into that space where I say, you know, the essence of who you are separate from your body. We've all had that experience, if you've been in this group, of separating from your body and understanding that you are not your physical body. The essence of who you are. Some cultures would call it your spirit, your soul. I call it the essence. The passenger, the observer in this physical body, the part of you that's watching you behaving badly and saying you shouldn't be doing that. That part of you. The essence of who I am needs this to communicate with you. Without this physical body, I cannot communicate with you. I cannot move, I cannot speak, I can't do anything without this physical body. But it's not who I am. So if I want to be around as long as possible, if I want to, and I love life, as you know, I love it. You know, I love everything about it. And the only way I can experience it is through this physical body. So I have to look after it. Most of you know, if you see my Facebook, that I've got a little dog, Lucy. And I love that little dog, and I believe she loves me. Now, Lucy is a super intelligent creature, but she lives with me. And she likes to be around me. And if I sit, she'll sit beside me, probably with her head on my lap. She'll sit. And if she's hungry, she'll eat. I love that dog, and I want it to be around as long as possible. And because of that, I buy her the best food I can buy her, most nutritious food I can get for my dog. And I don't give her too much of it. And if I want her to be fit and well, I have to walk her, because if I don't, she'll sit with me. If I sit all day, she'll sit all day. And I think I should be at least as kind to myself as I am to my dog. That's the kind of minimum we can offer ourselves. If you have a dog, I'm sure you treat it well. Why would you not do that for yourself? That's kind of minimum, isn't it? Because my dog will do whatever I do. And if I want it to be as well as possible, I have to look after her and I have to feed her properly. I have to exercise her. Or she doesn't get any exercise and she's going to get fat and she's not going to live as long as I want her to live. So it's the same with this. This is just my physical being. It's not who I am. But I experience life through it. I don't want to do that for as long as. I love everything about this life. And I'm greedy about it. You know, I'm greedy about it. I'd rather be greedy about life than greedy about a cake. And it's not difficult. It's truly not difficult to stay well as long as. And all of you know how to do it. And if you're not doing it, the question is, why not? You know, it gets back to those 5 questions that I've asked you before. What has to happen for you to love yourself enough to create the body you want and the health you want and the happiness you want? What has to happen for you to love yourself or not? If you are not loving yourself, why not? It's probably because you're beating yourself up for being human. And we all do it, don't we? We think we should be better than we are. I think my belief is that there's 2 major problems we have as human beings. And the first one is expecting too much of ourselves. And when we don't meet up to that expectation, we beat ourselves up over it. And the second one is mind reading. They'll be thinking that, she'll be thinking this, he must be thinking that of me. And we can't read minds. And yet those 2 things are what's happening to us all the time. So if you're not loving yourself enough, it's probably because you're beating yourself up over being human. Once you accept that you are not perfect and you're never going to be, then you can start living and loving who you are. So it starts there. What has to happen for you to love yourself enough? The second question, these are Sandra Grace's questions, not mine. The second question is, if you're not the physical body you want right now, if you are not as healthy as you are right now, if you're not as happy as you are not right now, if not, why not? Why are you not? What's stopping you from being as healthy as you can be, as happy as you can be, as physically well as you can be? What is stopping you? You will know these questions. You will know the answers to these questions. Your conscious mind will try and say, well, yeah, it'll get in the way. I want you to seriously listen to your conscious mind and the excuses it's coming up with for why you are not living the life you really want. You know, last week, Nick took us through that beautiful experience of finding our authentic self. What has to happen for you to allow yourself to be your authentic self, the part of you that feels good about yourself, that loves yourself, that wants the best for yourself? What is stopping you from doing that? Whatever you think you are, and I mean this seriously, whatever you think you are, I promise you are so much more than that. So much more than that. But it has to come from you. I don't want any of you doing anything in a way of creating a body you want for someone else. I once had a client came to see me and she wanted to lose a stone in weight. And this was, I'm telling you, was a beautiful, beautiful woman. You know, I'm an expert on them, tell you. And this was a beautiful woman. And she wanted to lose a stone in weight. And I said, why do you want to lose a stone in weight? I said, you know, you look great. She said, my husband's into designer clothes. He has the Gucci shoes and the Boss suits. And he drives a such and such BMW M3 or whatever it was. Everything had to have a badge on it, you know. And he said, and he thinks I'd look better a stone lighter. I swear to God, that's what she said. I said, the wrong person sitting in a therapy chair, if you ask me. I know I'm not the best of therapists, but I'll speak my mind. I said, I'll tell you now. I said, you're never going to be tall enough, blonde enough, or beautiful enough for that guy, unfortunately. And in her heart, she knew it. It has to come from her. Why does she want to lose that weight? Not for someone else, because it's never going to be good enough. And I want you to think about this tonight. Why do you want to lose the weight? And if it's because someone else thinks you ought to lose the weight, then why do it? I want you to know that you're already the most beautiful person on the planet. You're the most incredible creation. And then think, how do I want to feel? Just for the hell of it. How good can I be? That's my kind of goal. How good can I be? Just for the hell of it, for no other reason than feeling great. So what do you want? That's the next question. What do you want? What do you want in a way of your physical body? I've worked with people, normally very young people, who are anorexic. And some of these girls, all of the ones I've worked with are super intelligent. That's the one common denominator. They are super intelligent. And some of them will kill themselves. None that I've seen, but you know this is true. Some of those girls will kill themselves. They'll starve themselves to death because they don't think they're thin enough. And how incredibly determined are those girls? How incredibly focused are those girls? If they put that focus, and some of the girls that I've seen do, they change that focus to doing something really incredible and creative. And they can do anything they want because they know they are determined and how incredibly focused those people are. And if what I'm saying to you, the reason I'm saying this is because when it comes to our body, it's just about focus. It's just about what do I want? And if those girls of 13 and 15 and 12 can do it, then you as an adult, when you focus on what you truly want, there's very little you cannot achieve. When it comes to weight loss or weight gain, every one of us can do it. I know when we go through, and when women go through the menopause, your hormones change and your body changes. But again, you have to ask how much of that is just acceptance. If you were to change the way, it's like for men, when we're young and we're working out and we're playing sport and we're doing all that stuff, and then we get a bit older, we're still eating the same as we were doing when we were 20 and playing sport every day. And we wonder why we put the weight on. We're not adjusting to the lifestyle. And I know, we have the different times of our life. We go through different periods in our life of hormonal change and aging and all those kind of things, but we can still focus on, we just don't say, well, I don't know why I'm putting on the weight. Well, the reason is you're eating exactly the same food you're eating when you were 20 and you're on your feet all day. We just have to look at how we want to adjust. None of this, when it comes to weight loss, what I say is this: there are some things we cannot change. Otherwise, I'd be taller, I'd have a lot more hair. But weight is not one of those things we can't change. We can adjust. If you want to put on weight, you know exactly what we need to do. And in truth, it's not that complex. If you take in more calories than you are burning up, you're going to put on weight. And if you take in less calories than you're burning up, you're going to lose weight. And there are 3 ways of doing that: take in less calories, burn up more calories, and I would suggest the third way is do some of both if you want to lose a bit of weight. It's not complex. And most of you know exactly what you need to do. We're going to get you, this is not me giving you nutrition advice or exercise advice, because you already know exactly what you need to do. What we're going to do is get you in the right frame of mind to understand, one, your worth and value, because otherwise, why would you bother? And secondly, get your unconscious mind working to help you achieve it. Your unconscious mind is a superpower, and I mean it. It's a superpower. There is not a computer on this planet that compares to your brain. and what your brain can do at the speed it can work at. It's not a computer on this planet can do it. And it has a very small remit. Your unconscious, instinctive, intuitive brain has a very small remit. It's there for two reasons. It wants you to be happy and it wants you to be well. It's striving in everything to create that for you. It wants you to be physically well and it wants you to be happy. But it needs a very clear direction. If you give it a clear direction, it's like an exocet missile. I have people come to see me and they say, I want to lose some weight at some point in the future. That is not a clear goal. I think it was Tony Robbins. Someone said to me, you know, why are you here? He said, well, I want to earn, I want more money. So Tony Robbins gave him a $5 bill and sent him away. He said, there you are. That's not a clear goal. You know, it has to be a clear goal. I want you in this time we have together this evening to let go of your limitations, put the word realistic out of your mind and go, that is how I want to look and feel. That's how I want my life to be. And then give yourself a reasonable time to achieve it. You know, if you want to lose 5 stone, then give yourself the time to lose it. If you want to put on muscle, then give yourself a bit of time to achieve it. But a time that's going to stretch you, something that's going to make you work harder. How badly do you want this? There's the next question. How badly do you want this? How badly do you want to look and feel good? How badly do you want to feel happy in your life? Because you have a right to be happy. I don't care who you are. You have a right to be happy. You have a right to feel good. You have a right to be as well as you can be. But you've got to want it. And you've got to say, today's the day. Not tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start next week. You know, I've got the weekend coming up and I'm going to a party. I'll start next week. That never happens. You know, tomorrow never comes. You have to make a decision today. You're going to do it today. You're going to make a decision. And let's see, this group's on every Thursday. Let's start holding each other accountable. You know, Andrea, how are you going with your creating a body health and happiness? I'm going to ask you the question. I'm going to ask it of Nolene. Let's ask it of each other. Let's celebrate our successes on this group. You know, you can say, this is where I was when we had that group session. This is where I am now. You know, I've lost 5 pounds, or I've put on a stone, or, you know, my chest muscles are bigger. I don't know. Whatever it is you're thinking of how you want to achieve, let's share it amongst ourselves. And let's celebrate. You know, if it's health thing, you know, how much healthier can you be? How much healthier can you feel than you are today? Oh, there's a power in this group. There's a power in this community we've set up here. I want it for you, but that's not good enough. I want you to be everything you want to be. You've taken the time out to join our group, because of course I want you to be everything you want to be. But it doesn't matter what I want. Do you want it? You know, those 2 questions. What has happened for you to love yourself? And if you're not living that life now, if not, why not? And my 3 questions, what do you want? Let go of those limitations. Well, I'd like to be, you know, realistic. I'd like 9 stone would be great, but 10, realistically, 11.5 will do. No. For a goal to be achieved, there has to be 2 things in place. It has to be an exciting goal. It has to be something that's going to make you forego that piece of cake. It's going to be something that's going to get you up and do a walk. It has something that's going to keep you on track. It has to be exciting. Otherwise, your brain won't do it. And it has to be time bound. There are 2 things that have to be in place if you're setting yourself a target. Because otherwise it goes on forever. There's no end to it. So think about where you want to be. Realistically, you know, put that word out of your mind. you know, if you want to lose weight, we're talking about losing weight here just for this moment. But if you want to lose weight, then look at losing it at about 1 kilo a week. That's where you should be. So if you look at it as 1 kilo a week, if you've got to lose 10 kilos, that's 10 weeks. That's 2.5 months. Write today's date down. Look at 2.5 months from here. Try and find a memorable date. It might be a birthday, an anniversary. Write that down. And when you finish here today, write on in your diary, date to achieve goal. Make it time bound. If it's putting on weight, you know how to do that as well. And give yourself a time to put that on. If it's muscle weight, then how much weights do I need to lift to build the muscle up? How much protein do I need? You can go online and find all this stuff out. And then set a target for when you want to have that body. That's why I'm calling this creating the body you want, not losing weight. Because each of us are different. In the same way as my shoes would not suit Nick and Nick's shoes wouldn't suit me, Doreen's shoes probably wouldn't fit me, and Doreen wearing my boots would probably make walk funny. You know, it's not, each of us are different. And so think about what you want, how you want to be, and then go, okay, I'm committing to it. Make a commitment. Make a choice. Know that you have a choice. Then make a commitment, but do it for yourself, for no one else. Just for the hell of it. That's what, it doesn't even drive me. I just think, what's going to stretch me? I'm learning to play the piano. Didn't start till last year. You know, I wish I started when I was 17. But, you know, how good can I get on that piano? I'm never going to play on Britain's Got Talent or any other talent show. But for me, it stretches me every day. How much better can I get at this? Same with my body, same with my work, same, you know, I'm working with Nick, you know, one, because I love Nick and I think he's great and, you know, it's exciting to work with him, but just to see what we can create. How much fun can we have creating something incredible, helping people change their lives? That's what this is about for me. And it's the same when it comes to our physical goals. What do you want? How much fun is that going to be? To be able to take yourself out of where you are now and create something beyond what you had before. I'm going to get you into that state of mind. Then we're going to ask your unconscious mind to make whatever changes are necessary at a molecular, cellular, neurological level that will enable you to create that body you want. I don't think we can be totally happy if we're not well. If we're not feeling healthy. I don't think those two things go together. We can say, yeah, I'm happy, but if you're not physically well, you're not going to be as happy as you can be if you're physically healthy. And I don't think you can be physically well if you're not truly happy. So let's get all these things aligned this evening and let go of limitations, focus on what you want, tap into that feeling of unconditional self-love, and let's see what we can create together. And if you're happy where you are, that is perfectly okay. But be honest with yourself. Be honest. That's the only thing I'm asking you, because your unconscious mind says, well, you're fine. And if it might be that you are. But if in your heart of hearts, you're going, no, I'm not. I'm not totally happy with myself. I'm not comfortable like I am. Then you can change it. You don't have to go to the gym. You know, I think people think, well, I've got to go to the gym every day. I don't want to do that. For everyone in this group, I will put a link. I wrote this book called the Jacqueline Rope Workout Book. And I'll put a link to the PDF for you. All of you are part of our Ministry of the Mind Facebook group. And it's just how to get toned and fit on a single piece of rope. And it's not difficult. It's, you know, the most it's going to cost you is like $2 for a piece of rope. And it describes everything in the book. And it comes with a ton of audios as well, you know, on meditation and unconditional self-love as well. All of those will be in that link. And it's purely for this group that's here tonight, because I want you to be everything you want to be. Don't have to do it, but the other side of it is you don't have to go to the gym either. It's not, it's not going to cost you anything. Only you know how badly you want it. But if you spent 5 minutes a day doing that, your body's going to change. You might have heard me say the other day, and I did a little Facebook Live about it today, about the thanks protocol that I run. If you haven't done it, if you've got a pencil on you, and some of you might be able to remember it, it's a very simple affirmation, if you like. And I described how it came about. When I teach my students and to be hypnotherapists, I say, when you're working with your client, hold this thought in your heart: I care about you and I want you to be well. Sometimes we get caught up in the techniques and the words and the language that we forget to be human. But I think it's vitally important to hold that in our heart when we're working with our people. I want that for you. I want you to be happy and I want you to be well. I care about you and I want you to be happy and I want you to be well. So I hold that thought. And I went to India, and the greeting there, namaste, which means I recognize the God within you. And I'm not a particularly religious person, but change one letter in that sentence, it becomes I recognize the good within you. So I put these things together, and this is how this affirmation goes. I'd ask you all, just do it every morning for 2 minutes. Take the time out. You can spare yourself 2 minutes to do this, maybe just before you get out of bed or when you just get out of bed, and do some breathing at the same time. Some of that box breathing, they call it. And this is how the affirmation goes. I want you to aim these words at yourself. I recognize the good within you, because you all have it in you. I recognize the good within you. Thank you. Thank your body for being so incredible. Thank you. I care about you. I want you to be well. Aim those words at yourself for 2 minutes while you're breathing. So you're breathing in. As you breathe out, I recognize the good within you. Thank you. I care about you. I want you to be well. And aim those words at yourself for 2 minutes every day and see how your life changes. Want this for yourself. Only you know how badly you want to feel good. But you have a right to feel good. You have a right to be healthy as you can be. And it's not difficult. Drink a bit more water. Wherever you can, get some daylight on you. And whenever you can, get in contact with the earth. I'm talking about barefoot on the soil. And breathe. Take time out, 5 minutes a day, do some box breathing. If you do those 3 things, your life will change. Just drink more water. And most of us don't do it. Eat when you're hungry. And stop when your brain recognizes you swallowed enough food. No, it's okay to leave food on your plate. It's our culture in England, I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world. It's our culture to finish everything that's served up for us. I want you to know it's okay to leave some food on your plate. It takes 10 minutes for your stomach to register that you swallowed something. 10 minutes. And most of us, because we're working and we're rushing, we're eating so quickly that by the time our stomach registers we've eaten enough, you've already eaten too much. By taking the time out to taste your food, not, I've got to chew each mouthful 30 times. Who wants to do that? But by tasting your food, taking just a bit of time out to taste your food, 2 things happen. It slows you down a tad. And because you're chewing your food more and tasting it, the saliva in your mouth starts to break that food down in your mouth before it reaches your stomach. So your digestive system works better. And then by listening to your unconscious mind and recognizing when you've swallowed enough food to stay healthy, well, and happy, and knowing it's okay to say that was delicious, I've had enough. The feeling of empowerment when you say, I've had enough, and you put your knife and fork down, the feeling of empowerment is going to be immense. By listening to your body and knowing it's okay to leave some food if you've eaten enough, you can create the body you want anywhere. Until we get control of that, we're at the mercy. We go to an Indian restaurant, Chinese restaurant, Italian restaurant, we're at the mercy of some kid in the kitchen who's decided this is how much food Andrew is going to eat tonight. And because we've paid for it, chances are we're going to eat it all. The feeling of empowerment, say, I've eaten enough. It's going to be immense. I did a group for weight loss years ago, and there was about 40 women in the room. There was about 45 people to start off with. The men dropped out. I ended up with like 40 women still wanting to lose weight. And I said to this group, I'm just going to hypnotize you so that the moment you've eaten enough, you get up from the table and you put the food that's left on your plate in the bin. And a woman said to me, that's despicable to waste food when there are children that are starving in India and Africa. To put food in the bin is despicable. And I know it was harsh, but I said, do this. Take a photograph of yourself 5 stone overweight. Send it some starving kid in Africa. And so I've sent you the photograph because I want you to know I haven't wasted the food. And see how much better that makes that kid feel. That's not going to make that kid feel one jot better. I said, if you really want to help that kid in Africa, start by leaving a bit of food. In the end, you'll serve yourself up a little less. If you're saving £20 a week or $20 a week, send the kid the $20 rather than put the food in your mouth because you don't want to waste it. Some of the excuses I've heard for not losing weight are immense. And they all sound sensible when they go around your head, but when you speak them out, they're ridiculous. And that's one of them. I'm asking you to just enjoy your life even more. I have people come and see me and they say, I've got an alcohol problem. I say, what is it? Well, I drink a bottle of wine every night. They're not alcoholics because they go to work every day. They just drink a bottle of wine every night. And I say, well, become a connoisseur. Instead of spending £7 on a bottle of wine, spend £12, but drink it out of a crystal glass instead of a pint mug. And taste and savor every mouthful of that wine. Become a connoisseur. I would say the same with your food. If you've cooked a meal or someone's cooked a meal for you, the least you can do is taste it. And most of us don't. And by tasting your food, as I said, become a connoisseur. It will slow you down a tad. Give your brain enough time to recognize when you've swallowed enough food. And the moment you have, you stop eating and your life changes. Just letting someone in. So that's what's going to happen this evening. Let's just take, I'm going to take 20 seconds out just quietly while you all think about and let go of your limitations. Think about how you'd like to be a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. So we're just going to go silent while you just take that time out for yourself to think about it, okay? This time starts now. Okay. Have you all got that picture in your mind? And is it an exciting goal for you? Yes? Good. Yeah, let's do this. Have some fun with this. Let's see in this group, well, as we go through these next few weeks, what's happening, what you're creating, and let's all share and celebrate in those times together. I'm on it now. I've said it. Now I've got to do it, haven't I? You know, it's like this. I've said it, and now I'm stuck with it. I can't keep stuff in my face every day when I'm thinking of all you out there doing the right things. So yeah, it's going to help me as well. We've got 8 weeks till Las Vegas, so that's a good enough goal. See what I can create in 8 weeks. Think about where you want to be, you know, and if you get a chance, come and meet me and Nick in Hypno Thoughts Live. That's going to be fun. So look, is there any questions before we get into this? Anything at all? Switch your mics on. Hi, Annalene.
I've got a question. Yes. Will you or address the protective parts of us that may want to hold on to weight for whatever reason they did it in the first place?
Okay, yeah, of course we will. We will. And, you know, and I think there are so many schools of therapy out there that assume that if someone is seriously overweight, it has to be through some form of abuse. And that's so bad to think that. But some say it's the reason that person's kept that weight on is because at some point they didn't want to look attractive. And that has been going around for so many years. And it might be true in some cases, but it's not true in as many cases as is put out there. But if it's protecting you in some way, it's a bit. I often look at, like, people say, you know, the fear of success. I kind of find that I often ask how much of that, and maybe I'm being harsh, how much of that is an excuse as well. I don't want to be too successful, because your conscious mind, if that's an excuse, that is a really good excuse for not achieving, for stopping from achieving yourself, if that's an excuse. And I'm not saying this is true, Annalene, but we will address that. If there is some part of any of you that's holding on to that weight as a protective mechanism, then I'm going to ask your unconscious mind to find another way of keeping you safe and protected, but at the same time allowing you freedom from the irrational fear of creating the body and health you want. Okay? If that has ever been a case for you, stopping you achieving what you want to achieve. And again, you know, I said to you earlier, didn't I? If you're doing this for someone else, and really that is for someone else, because if it's someone else's problem, if you're afraid of somebody else's attention, that's not your problem. That's their problem, surely. They're the ones that need to deal with that. So why should we not be the best we can be just because of someone else? I want you to drop that today and understand you have a right to be the best you can be and healthy as you can be, feel as good as you can feel. You have that right. Okay, was there any other questions before we get into this? All right, let's have a look. Tracy sent a message, see what it says. Okay, like Teresa's saying, you know, it's very strong for her, that mind reading, you know, being judged. And as we work through these weeks together, and as we run our programs that Nick and I are going to be running, one of my major goals for everyone is to drop the fear of being judged. But to do that, we also have to stop judging others. We have to stop that. Because I promise you this, when you are unafraid of judgment, when you stop judging others, it puts you in the most awesome space. It's a feeling of freedom. If you haven't already done this, it's a feeling of freedom you may have never experienced before. When you stop worrying about being judged and stop judging others, it's truly an awesome space. And then you're living for yourself. Then you're creating the body you want for yourself, not for others. And understanding, as Teresa said, that, we understand people judge us by our transport. We do. People do. If two women go for a job, one of them's overweight and one of them's not, we know the chances are the one that's not overweight is going to get that job. But they've both got the same qualifications. That's how shallow people are. But we know that's a fact. We can't hide from that fact. People judge us by our transport. But we have to understand that's not who we are. But we live in this world, and how we want to show up in this world, and how we want to live in this world, and what we want to create in this world, we have to play that game sometimes, but without allowing people's judgment to affect how we feel about ourselves, if that makes any sense. So let's get over that tonight. Let's get over that. Let's get to what Nick was talking about last week. Our true, authentic, intrinsic self. And I keep saying it to you. I'm going to say it again to you tonight. The essence of who you are is pure light, pure energy, and pure love. That is the essence of who you are. And anything that is not that is not you. Anything that is not that is not you. So think about where you want to be. Let's get into this space together and let's move toward it. Any other questions before we get into this? Or are you all ready to go? You're all ready to create the body, health, and happiness that you want? Yes? Okay. Well, all you have to do, as normal, is absolutely nothing. Good to see you, Gerard. It's good to meet you over the weekend. Great to see you. And all you have to do is absolutely nothing. Look on this as time out. Understand that while we're together, you are all that matters to me. For this next half an hour, nothing else matters to me except us here right now and you achieving what you want to achieve. You can listen to me if you want, but I don't mean this rudely. I'm not interested in your conscious mind. Some of you have tried to do this consciously. It hasn't worked. This is an unconscious process. And your unconscious mind will hear everything I've got to say, and it will take from it what's needed for you to create that life you want. And then when you finish this call tonight, all you have to do is listen to your unconscious mind, as Bar was saying earlier. Listen to what your body's saying. Once you've given it direction, if it says eat this, eat this. If it says don't eat this, don't eat it. And your unconscious mind will give you everything you need to know to create the life you want and the health you want. You have to be open and trust your unconscious mind. So are you all ready? Yep. You know how to do this. Get comfortable. Make sure you're in a safe place. Okay. Make sure your legs and feet aren't crossed and your hands are separate if you can put them separately. So your arms aren't crossed, or, so you're in a comfortable position. And when you're ready to do this, just take a breath in and hold it for a moment. And as you breathe out, just allow your eyes to close, but only as quickly as you're ready to create the life that you absolutely want. Because with the eyes closed, you can begin to relax. Although at times you may be more aware of some things than you were before. The sound of my voice, the comfort of the chair, the sounds in the room, certain sensations, the beating of your heart, and the thoughts and images that drift into the mind automatically. Just for a moment, allow yourself the pleasure of going out there into the future to a time where you have created that body you want, where you created the health you want and the happiness you want, and you are free to be. And notice the way you move and the way you breathe. Now, waking up in the morning energized, going about your day with a new stamina, a new feeling of joy and happiness and freedom. Notice the way you move and the way you breathe, and step into that body. Feel into how it feels to have created that body you want and the health you want and the happiness you want. Feel into it, get a sense of it now, and ask the question, how much fun is this? How much fun can I make it? How important is it for me? Get a sense of that now, because now you know how good you're going to feel. Everything about your nature, your mind and body is inclined toward making it happen. That's right, because with the eyes closed, it becomes easier to become more and more aware of a variety of things that otherwise may go overlooked or ignored. Thoughts, feelings, sensation, the love you may have overlooked before. That gradual letting go. Letting go even of the effort it takes to be aware of exactly where the arms are positioned, or the hands or fingers. Even the effort it takes to be aware of which leg seems to relax more quickly or completely than the other may seem to be too much effort to bother making. It's so much easier simply to relax and enjoy that letting go. As you continue to learn even more than before about your abilities, your capacities to learn as you relax, and the mind begins to drift down toward a place of quietness, place of peaceful inner awareness, a place that almost seems to give off signals that directs awareness down toward it, into it. More and more comfortably, more and more effortlessly, more and more completely and deeply than before. Where even the effort it takes to be aware of the sound of my voice or the meaning of my words may almost seem to be too much effort to bother making. It's so much easier simply to relax and enjoy that letting go. Allowing events to occur in your own time, in your own way, a drifting down, deeper, deeper, deeper down. Get a sense of that happening, just dropping down through space and time, as if space and time no longer exist. The deeper you go, the better you feel. Just when you think you've reached the ultimate space of profound hypnosis and trance, my voice, my words will take you 10 times deeper. Get a sense of that happening automatically. Imagine there's nothing you can do about that. Every word I say now doubles that feeling. Everything I say now is your reality. Every suggestion I give you, your mind and body will act upon at a molecular, cellular, neurological level is now your reality. You have a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. And that unconscious mind, the back of the mind, that instinctive, intuitive part of your being that's monitoring your heartbeat, your body temperature, your blood pressure, that's scanning the environment, keeping you safe, can continue to hear, to understand and respond to those things I might say without the need for you to do anything at all. It's so much easier for the conscious mind simply to relax and enjoy that letting go. That's right. Letting go even of the effort it takes to make the effort that it might take to tell the exact position of arms, legs, or the entire body now that seems to drift through time and space. That wonderful, free-floating place of effortless relaxation and letting go. Allowing events to occur in their own time, in their own way, as you drift as a mind. And that mind drifts without boundaries, without borders, without limits. Once again, get a sense of yourself out there, living your life the way you want to live it. Feeling great, healthy, happy. Notice the way you move and the way you breathe. Know that you absolutely can and will create that life you want, because you want it. And now you know how good you're going to feel. Everything about your nature, your mind and body is inclined toward making it happen. And the unconscious mind can allow those changes to occur at a molecular, cellular, neurological level, while the conscious mind drifts off someplace else entirely now. That's right, in your own time, in your own way. Aware of events that occur along the way, as the unconscious mind utilizes that opportunity to alter your awareness and to continue that learning in whatever way is the right way for you. Learning that feeling of letting go. Just let go. Free of the past, free of the future, free to be in this moment. How incredible are you? I can wonder whether you're aware that you've drifted deeply into hypnosis. And as you drift even deeper, you can use your unconscious mind as a resource that you can learn from and really have an experience, one that's satisfactory to you. All that's needed to build a good rapport with the unconscious is to have a line of communication. And sometimes the unconscious communicates by movement. It may be that the eye reflex changes and the eyes flicker. That's right. Or the head moves slightly, or a muscle twitches involuntarily. That's right, you can try and keep those eyes still, find they flicker even more. It may be that the left hand moves all by itself, starts to feel lighter and lighter, starts to drift up, lift up, pulled up by an invisible force. Or the right hand goes even higher. Only the unconscious mind knows which it will use, because your unconscious mind knows more about you than anyone else. And so as you drift deeply into hypnosis, even deeper than before, I'd like your unconscious mind to search through all the things in your life. Pick one thing that is of vital and utmost importance in creating the body, the health, and the happiness that you want. A way you'd love to feel, something you'd love to achieve, or something that no longer suits you, that you can let go now. And when the unconscious mind's made that choice, I'd like it to increase those signals with honest unconscious movements so that you understand. I don't know whether it be the left hand, right hand, both hands that continue to feel lighter, or the eyes that flicker, or the head that moves. That's right. You'll know before I do as the movement begins. And even as you become aware of certain sensations, one thing that you'd love to achieve, a way you'd love to feel, something that no longer suits you, that you'd love to be free of, or a way you'd like your body and mind to be. And when the unconscious mind's made that choice, that's right, I want to increase those signals. And as you become aware of that movement, the mind automatically moves toward those thoughts and ideas, images that clarify most clearly for you, the very things you know and do that seem to get in the way of creating the body, health, and happiness that you long for. Awareness migrates automatically toward those things that need attention. Same way animals migrate without thinking, without trying. They just seem to know when to go, where to go, what to do to take care of themselves. An inner voice, an inner awareness that moves the birds, the animals from place to place, that makes them restless. Something not right. Draws their attention toward that uncomfortable feeling and sets them in motion. And they move hundreds of miles, thousands of miles, taking care of their young, taking care of themselves. No one knows how it feels to be an eagle or a dolphin or a butterfly that suddenly knows the time is right for a change, that suddenly knows the exact change needed. But we can relax. Imagine how it might feel to gradually, suddenly recognize that feeling that something needs to change. It needs to change now. And to know without knowing what needs to be done. To be told without hearing by that inner voice, do this now. To have actions flow from those feelings, responding effortlessly and automatically to that inner voice that tells us what to do and when and how to do it. To be born with that knowledge, to trust that feeling, to be so comfortably aware of yourself that everything becomes easier. And so as you drift deeper, deeper, deeper into hypnosis, I'd like your unconscious mind to hand those signals to the part of you responsible for your physical being, for your health, for your happiness. And when that part of you has taken full control of those signals, I'd like it to increase those signals so that you understand it's taken control. That's right. And as you become aware of that movement, as it increases, I'd like to ask that part now to allow you to know at some conscious level what it is that it's been doing for you, what its purpose is, why you haven't achieved that goal yet. And when you fully understand what that part has been trying to do for you, I want it to increase those signals so that you understand that you know the reason. And now I'd like to ask that part responsible for your physical body, for your health, for your happiness, to go to that incredible creative mind of yours. The part that dreams, that has ideas, makes plans. Allow that wonderful creative mind to run and flow and work and come up with lots of new choices, incredible, wonderful, nutritious foods that will lead you to that physical body and health that you want. Fun ways of moving that will get your heart and your body working. Each time it identifies a new choice that it believes is at least, if not more, enjoyable and fun to do, that will lead to that physical body and health and happiness, but at the same time, keeping you safe, well, and protected. I'd like it to increase those signals so that you and I understand it's making those choices for you. That's right. Each time it identifies a new choice, some enjoyable foods that will lead you to that perfect body that you want, fun ways of moving or get your heart working, ways of keeping you safe, well, and protected, but at the same time allowing you the freedom to create the body you want. I want it to increase those signals. It's working brilliantly for you. That's right, 10, 20, 100 new choices. And as that part searches, I want you to have that experience of drifting away from your body, the essence of who you are, a moment of liberation, the essence of who you are, that spark within you, the essence, the passenger, the observer in that physical body. Get a sense of drifting up out through the top of your head and leaving that body in that chair for a while. Drifting up out through what's known as the crown chakra. Just drifting up out of your body and leaving your body in that chair. And as you drift away from your body, I want you to look back at that body in that chair and show it some appreciation. How incredible is your body? Just for a moment, show it some appreciation. How incredible is your body? Just for a moment, think about the things your body's enabled you to do, the pleasure you felt, the places you've been, the people you've met, maybe the human beings that that body's created. Just think about how incredible your body is and make a decision right now. Take care of that body, to love that body, to want the best for that body, because it is worth it. Do it now. Make that decision. And notice as you drift away from your body that you are not your body. The essence of who you are is ageless and it's infinite. It has no edge. Get a sense of drifting up out of that building you're in, drifting up into the sky. Light as a feather, like a helium balloon, drifting higher and higher. Get a sense of drifting so high you could look back at this beautiful blue planet we live on. How incredibly lucky are we to have landed on this planet? See the whites of the clouds and the mountaintops, the blue of the ocean, the greens of the forests. And notice how your perspective changes. When you look at this beautiful planet from way off, notice how your perspective changes. Things that had seemed overwhelming no longer have any power over you. Things that had seemed hard or difficult to overcome no longer have any power over you. How incredible are you? Notice that the essence of who you are is pure energy, light, and love. That's who you are. Anything that's not that's not you. You are love, you are loved, and you are loving. Now in your mind's eye, get a sense of a target or a spinning vortex of lights. And in the center is pure, unconditional self-love. The most intense, incredible feeling of unconditional self-love. And in a moment, I'm going to make this sound. As I make that sound, you'll be fired, shot like an arrow, straight into the center of that spinning vortex of light, or straight through that target into a space of unconditional self-love. Know that you are worthy of this feeling. Get ready. And now you're in that space. Feel that feeling of unconditional self-love flooding through your body. Feel your heart expanding with that feeling of unconditional self-love. And notice as your body and mind's flooded with that feeling, that every limiting belief that was placed on you is gone. Because it cannot coexist in your body and mind with that feeling of unconditional self-love. And as you drift in that space, every limitation's gone. Every negative limiting belief that ever stopped you from achieving the things you want, gone from your mind and body. You are love and you are loved and you are loving. That's who you are. Get a sense of that now. And as you drift in that space, I'd like to ask that part that is responsible for your physical body, your health, and your happiness to make as many new choices right now, nutritious, enjoyable foods that will lead you to creating the body you want. Fun ways of moving that will get your heart working. Ways of keeping you safe and protected, but at the same time allowing you the freedom to create the life you truly want. And when it's made those choices, I want it to increase those signals so that you understand it's made those choices for you. Good. And now I'd like to ask that part to integrate these new changes into your body and mind at a molecular, cellular, neurological level that will allow you to create that health and happiness that you want. And when it's done that completely, I want it to increase those signals so that you and I understand that those new changes now integrated into your body. I want it to make it absolutely clear. Good. I'd like to thank that part for communicating, making those changes now. Go over with your unconscious, as often as you need to know that you can and you will create the life you truly want. Only when your unconscious mind knows and has made those changes at a molecular, cellular, neurological level, and allows the conscious mind to accept the changes made, is in a moment going to count to 10. Every suggestion I've given you, your mind and body will act upon. On 8, your eyes will open. You will feel incredible because you are incredible. And on 10, that feeling of unconditional self-love, that steely determination to create the body, health, and happiness you truly want is going to grow stronger day by day. Imagine those changes have taken place, and there's nothing you can do about that now. Even at first, you have to pretend it was something that was said to you, something that was done to you. You really have no choice. Your body's changing, your mind's changing, and the feeling of happiness is growing. Imagine that's happening, and there's nothing you can do about that. So get ready. On 8, your eyes will open. You'll feel incredible. And on 10, this feeling of unconditional self-love, freedom, is going to grow stronger day by day. As you look forward to telling us about the changes you've made and the happiness you're creating. 1, feeling absolutely wonderful. 2, to create that life you want to do it fearlessly. 3, a feeling of freedom from every limiting belief that ever held you back. 4, feel the force of that energy and love flooding through your body and mind. 5, feeling incredibly alive now. 6, 7, 8, eyes opening, feeling absolutely incredible. 9, 10. Liz, you seem to enjoy that. Okay. Well, look, I hope you enjoyed the evening. And Diane's back as well. Diana's back, which is good. We normally have to wake her up. So that's quite a result today. Well done, Diana. Okay. Nice to see you, Valerie. Good to see you all. And I'm looking forward to hearing how we're going over these next few weeks. And we can celebrate together. All right. Is there any questions before we say goodnight to you all? Any questions at all?
Freddie, we
Okay,
got
good.
your dream architecture hypnosis recording will be ready. I think, well, it's ready now, but I think we're going to release it next Thursday. So if you have
Okay.
access to the library, you'll get the dream architecture hypnosis recording. If not, you can purchase it starting next Thursday. It's
Okay. If you're not already part of our library, have a look and join. You've got all of the backdated breakthrough broadcasts that we do, all of the, all the things that we're releasing, like the Dream Architectural Therapy. We're creating stuff all the time for the library. So have a look at it, check it out, and maybe join our library. And look for the other things that Nick and I are doing. We're about to start to launch our 6-week self-hypnosis training sessions. Have a look at that. And Nick will be coming up with loads of other things, exciting things. I'm just looking forward to the week retreat that I don't know where he's going to do it yet, Nicaragua or Mexico or somewhere else exotic. So start looking down the back of your settee, see if there's any pennies down there, collect the money together, save up, raid your kids' money boxes, get the cash together and come and join us on one of those retreats. It's going to be fun. All right. So anyway, look, hope you've enjoyed tonight. You're all focused now, aren't you, on creating the body, the health and happiness that you want. All of your fears are gone, Teresa. Now you can create that life you want. See what happens, right? Been great speaking to you. And if there's no more questions, I'll say good night.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Nick.
Nick.
Thank you, Freddie. Good night.
Okay, great.
For joining.
Thanks, Nicholas.
Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Nick.
Great,
Bye,
great. Good to see you,
everybody.
Chris. Bye.
Thanks,
Okay.
guys. Cheers. See ya.
Bye now.
Namaste,
Nice
guys.
to see you, Blind.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Nice.